If you take me out of the pop-up, Matthew, you'll actually see the video go live. I might be there right now. Right there. And we're live. Okay. Well, there we go. This is a 10-second delay. How about that? All right. Good evening, noon, or depending where you're really early. Before we get, we are set up remote today. We're actually in the basement of the project that we're doing right now for you and for them. Um, this is a basement project. Some friends of the family, and they got a really interesting story. And their business was dramatically affected over the last couple of years. They just built the house and they couldn't finish their living space down here. So I was desperately looking for a basement to do a project in before we went into the winter season. It's been a long time since we've done a basement. We did a farmhouse. We've done some outside stuff, but it was just time for the channel, right? So we jumped in and we're out here finishing a basement. Me and Matt are just about done. We're laying flooring right now, and things are going awesome. We're doing a live show, and if you've seen all the paraphernalia, you see what's going on. We got some good news. The folks at DeWalt, yeah, it's actually Stanley Black and Decker. That's the company name. DeWalt is one of their lines. I love it, DeWalt. They reached out and said, "Hey, we want you to try these Craftsman tools and give us your honest opinion about them." So we've been using them on this project, and they wanted to just do a shout out and give away a trade stack today. This is the brand new portable toolbox. It's really cool. Like release buttons, done. Right. So you got three little boxes here. You can stack them all up, take all your stuff with you, stay organized. Great deal. We're going to give that away. So Craftsman is like the DIY version of the DeWalt tool line. Okay. So we're checking them out so far, so good. I'm actually pretty pleased. Uh, you got to have a lot of skill to be able to outperform a good power tool nowadays. All right. And this has been working out great for us. Quick shout out because I'm a different screen here. I'm looking at the comment section, right? But I wanted to just say cheers to Monique Myers, Daniel Walsh, and the Meadowbrook Swim Club. You all joined membership. That's pretty awesome. I actually hit the camera. That was a 1,000,001 shot. All right. Me and my blind eyes. Anyway, those videos are starting to come out, I think, in another week or so. Right? We've been here for filming for, 6 weeks now? And that's been good. It's been fun, And we're learning how to take the show on the road. So now we're in a basement in the middle of the country. This is kind of fun. Listen, rules of engagement tonight. This is a Q&A. I'm not going to sit here bragging about Craftsman all night, but we are going to give it away. Make sure, all you got to do to qualify, get in the chat, #cheers, right? We got a brand new software called StreamYard. We're up to our game, and they've got built-in programs. So they're just going to automatically pick a winner tonight, live, before we've done the stream, okay? We're going to push a button. It's going to populate a winner. And all you're going to have to do is send us your email at info@homerenovationdiy.com, and we'll be able to show you how to get it. Contest is open to everybody in the United States and Canada, just for clarification. All right, here we go. Lots of cheers. Different blue shirt. Yeah, it's live show. I like to, let my hair down and relax a little bit. And this is how it is. I do wear that other blue polo almost every other day of my life. And it's nice to put on something different once in a while. Cheers to Steve Machado. You just joined the membership. Guys, if you're watching the live show, the chat is only available to members. The contest is only available to members. And if you want to be a member, it's $5. And you might want to consider it if you're a DIYer, because we actually have a forum where you can send me pictures and questions, and I help you answer and diagnose and troubleshoot and all that kind of wonderful stuff. Majority of the questions I get are people who are just in a fog of confusion of public opinion. There's too many voices out there. Most of them are being paid for their opinion. And so everybody's got a certain level of confusion as to left, right, up, down, what's my assembly. Some people don't want to put any extra subfloor on before tiling, and some people want to put 5 inches of subfloor on before tiling, and every in between. So I just help to clarify all that stuff. I'm a practical renovator. I like to save you money. I'll tell you what you got to do and how to step over that. If you want to go overboard with your build, that's your business, it's your wallet. But I'll tell you, I've done right. Robert Garessi has been a member for 31 months. Yeah, you can only enter once, Robert. Sorry, you can hashtag all you like. The program is pretty damn smart. And cheers to Jake. Welcome to Money in the Bank, buddy. Listen, I don't really have uh, anything to say tonight. All right. I'm fresh. I'm energetic. I've had something to eat. I'm having a beverage. Cheers to Sonopan. Can I just shout out this project? We're doing a theater room. And I'm not messing around. I mean, theater room. We're talking cone of silence. Okay. That build has been spectacular. That video's coming out. You're going to love it. We use the Sonopan product. I love that product. I did an uncoupled wall with pocket doors. Like, and we're going 9.0 on this thing. It's going to have an LED screen for the TV. It's just crazy. Anyway, we would do a tour, but I'm afraid the equipment's so sensitive that if we move too much, we're going to lose our signal. We're going to try to keep it interesting. Feed is kind of squirrely. We are in a basement. And guess what? Suck it up, guys. The best internet we can get out here is courtesy of Elon Musk. It ain't as good as they're advertising, just to be true. We do have some technology that we bought. It's sitting across the river at the border in Ogdensburg. It's supposed to boost our signal 5 times. It costs as much as most small cars, and I can't wait to get it out here. But the day that we were going to go pick it up, we had the mother of all snowstorms. And I was just like, you know what? I think the members will be happier to have me around than dead in a ditch because I was trying to make my feed perfect. That'll be another day. Cheers to Jerry and B Money and Paul. Cheers, guys. Hey, everybody's joining membership today. Uh, if it's just for the purpose of winning a free tool, what the hell not? Enjoy this. Listen, we do a live show once a month, and it's Q&A. So feel free to jump in and start asking questions. All right, if you're a member, ask a question. If you're not a member and you're watching the feed and you're not joining the membership, that's cool. Okay, nothing against that. But if you got a question that's going to be a decision between saving money or spending it wisely, and you need an answer and you don't want to be a member, that's fine. Jump in there with a super chat. All right, I'm open to answering questions. I just can't go live to the entire DIY out there and answer questions all night long at will because I'd probably bite my tongue off. All right. And STFU has been a member for 2 months. Greetings to you too. All right. Oh, chili with or without beans? Is it? I don't want to get controversial tonight, but please, nobody puts beans in real chili. All right, now. Let's get into some questions. And if I answer your question and you notice that that we've scrolled past your question, just ask it again. Okay, it's going to happen. Um, we have a lot of members, and that's great. And I probably can't answer questions as fast as you guys can type. All right, so let's just jump into this. Okay, Steve wants to know. You just put in some new windows and brick mold trim. What is the trick to making your silicone caulking look good? Some of my gaps are up to a 1/4 inch. Okay, well, first of all, you shouldn't be using silicone caulking around brick mold on brick, okay, or anywhere outside. There are better materials than that. Okay, so Steve, if you want to go down to find a store in town that sells windows and siding, all right, and find out what the professionals are using. There are exterior polyurethane sealants that can go on that work really nice and aren't messy like silicone. And you can use like tongue depressors or cedar shims and just use a thin piece of wood to smooth out your line. Okay, that works great. And no, I have never tried building a custom epoxy river table, and I never will. Wow, there's people playing with epoxy out there already. I don't need to get involved in that. All right. What would I recommend for someone that wants to improve insulation in a vaulted ceiling with no attic access? Tear off your drywall, make your roof package thicker, and add more insulation, or spray foam it. But if you want to fix insulation, it's just drywall, right? Like it's the cheapest building material in your house. Let's not have a panic attack over if it's in the way. Get it out of there. If you got an insulation problem, drop the drywall and put it in. Brandon Lapointe must know, probably butchering that last name. My French accent is so bad, guys. I'm not even going to try. That'll be even more insulting. Thanks for your advice a few live shows ago on turning a slider into a man door. Came out great. Good to hear, dude. But, cheers for you for doing the work, huh? And if the door works great, that means you were paying attention to being very particular. Doors can be very particular. Cheers, Catherine. Welcome to the membership. Wait a minute. Someone answered for me and said they put beans in chili. Okay, that's just wrong. All right. Uh, Jake wants to know, would love a video on changing from switched outlets to overhead lighting. Okay. Yeah. Right. So the only issue here, Jake, is that the switched lights is basically you got a three wire running around your wall. You got black and red, and they break off the brass tab between the top and bottom receptacle, and they put a black and a red in the respective line. Okay, and then the one wire goes to the switch, and it's a switch leg back to that color around the room. So let's say the bottom is constant power and the top is only when the switch turns on for lamps. If you want to switch that out, you got to change all your plugs back to brand new, only put the black on, and then take that red wire from the switch and then switch leg up to the first light in your series. And then it's just a black and white, tie them all together. That's right. We are live at somebody else's house and they have dogs. So big surprise that was going to happen. Probably a squirrel. No worries. Joe wants to know what's the best way to strip old, sloppy, thick paint off of louvered doors in preparation to repaint. Okay, so here's the thing, Joe. Depends on how old and sloppy and thick that paint is. If it's too old, you're going to be getting into some seriously nasty stuff with like lead, right? And you don't want to ever sand that stuff. So you have to identify how old those doors are first. If it's just paint, you can actually use a heat gun and a scraper, and you can actually soften it up and it just lifts right off. Most old paints are just sitting on the surface. They're barely bonded to the wood. And so you can use a heat gun and remove it that way. That doesn't put fibers in the air and it's a lot safer. But wear a mask because you never really know, right? And for me, the best money is use a chemical stripper after that just to clean it. Okay. And then spray the door. Always spray a door, especially louvers. Dear Lord, you're better to spray a light mist, keep your pressure down low, hit it a few times if you have to before you get the finish you want. But that'd be my best process. Travis, welcome to the membership. Guys, if you're just joining, giving away a Craftsman trade stack today, valued around $300. Just hashtag cheers in the comment section. And the program, the StreamYard program that we're using here tonight is going to pick a winner at the end of the show. Just want to give you an update in case you're joining live. We're answering questions from members today. If you're not a member and you got a burning question you need to know, then jump into Super Chat and I'll help you out. Hashtag cheers. All right, here we go. Questions, thoughts on the cheaper in-floor heat kits from Amazon? Never used them. In my opinion, if you're going to put an in-floor heating system in, and then you're going to put in flooring on top of that, it's the wrong place to try to save money. Just saying. You get what you pay for building materials. I'm not looking for something that works amazing for 9 weeks. I'm not saying that that's all it would do, but who the hell knows, right? When it comes down to being cheap, man, you're going to put in a 50-year floor, you might as well put in a 50-year heating floor system. That's just my opinion. Sam is in the process of finishing a walkout basement. Cheers, Sam. And you're framing now? You mean you just started the process of finishing a walkout basement? Yeah. And wanted to know if using the existing metal studs is okay. And is it okay to attach a 2x4 wall to metal stud walls? Yeah, you could switch back and forth from metal to stud in the basement. No problem at all. Don't let that bother you at all. If you're more comfortable with wood. As a matter of fact, I've seen a lot of guys that will frame most of the stud package in metal. And then when it gets to the doors, they'll do like a wood wall section and frame it traditional with king and jacks and, headers and all that sort of thing. Cheers to Matt, who joined the membership just now. And Brandon, cheers to you too, buddy. So don't be worried about it. The framing has one purpose. Hold insulation and wiring drywall up. That's it. It's not holding up your house. So do whatever you're comfortable doing and don't worry about making a transition. If you want to reuse old steel, just make sure that it's installed properly so that you get the right insulation value for wherever you're living. Okay. If you're up north like we are and it's right up against the concrete, you're going to find that transfers a lot of cold air. So it's nice to have a thermal break before you go to the steel studs. Try using like a rigid foam insulation and then steel or wood or combination. Okay. And then add the bat. Stephen wants to know, how thick should I go for closed cell spray foam on the roof deck and the gable ends to make an insulated attic? Ohio-Michigan border. That's a good question. Here's the thing. Have you ever seen them do the spray foam? They go quick, 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 and it's done. So I would go as thick as my framing allows, which in a roof deck, in a lot of cases, if you have, uh, depending on the age of the home, it's going to be really hard to find a roof that's built thicker than 2 by 6. You might see 2 by 8 if you get really old, right? Uh, so you don't necessarily need to go fill a 2 by 8 cavity, because if you can get 3.5 inches, that's plenty of insulation in that region where you live. That would be my base opinion. I'm open to other people's opinions. If you have one, or if you're in the spray foam business and there's a proper recommendation on that, jump in the comment section. You aren't going to see me spray foaming too many roofs out there. I just find that it's a little bit too expensive for most people, unless you live in a district where you can get that return on investment. Cheers to Jarrett. Join the membership program. Yeah, there's a comment here that all these epoxy tables have dramatically inflated the price of epoxy. Yeah, trends will do that. There was a time when blue tile was really expensive too. Now they're giving it away. Um, Brandon, was Jeff ran some conduit between the basement and attic of a ranch style home. How deep? How do I cap either end for fireproofing? Hmm. Well, I guess it all depends on what conduit you have. And do you have a fish tape in the conduit? And can you even cap it? If it's PVC, I'd buy a PVC end cap and just stick it on. Okay. And you can use electrical tape. Um, Remember, we don't really have fireproofing in single family homes. That's just how it works. We don't even use fire rated drywall in single family homes. So being concerned about fireproofing on your conduit, I would say, is probably the least thing you should be concerned about. Um, if you have a fire in a single family home in North America, it's a wood construction without commercial graded drywall to resist the fire. You've got less than 15 minutes to be out, and or the house is so consumed with smoke and fire that it's uninhabitable. Um, who gives a damn about your conduit? I'm just saying, you're not doing it to help the firemen out. All right, that's just not going to be an issue. Um, yeah, wow. If you've ever been in a house that had a fire, you know what I'm talking about. 3 to 5 minutes, the fire department is there and putting out the fire, and the place has to be gutted to the studs, and then all the wiring has to come out, and most mechanical systems have to be replaced. It's just a write off. Like the drywall basically gives the fire department enough time to save the structure only. Everything else is garbage, and it stinks. I've seen it way too many times. I have a waterproof basement. That's why I really don't care about fireproofing residential homes. I don't care if you got fireproof installation behind your drywall. If a fire ever makes it to your drywall, you're not saving anything. They're ripping it out and throwing it in the garbage anyway. And if it makes it past the drywall, I don't care what insulation you got, the house is going to be dropped to the ground anyway. There's like, what, maybe half a percentage of fires where it's going to make any difference at all. So save your money and don't even think about it. Just stay insured. Okay. Whoo. Really enjoying. Wow. This is great. I can actually read this, Matt. This is good. Yeah, everybody say hi to Matt. He's working on behind the computer tonight, helping me out with this. And Eric is at home monitoring this from off location, which is kind of cool because I'm going to be traveling soon. And this is going to give us the ability to do live shows on a regular basis, even when I'm out of town. And I'm not going to have to get weird and creative. So here we go. Before I answer the next question, let's just go over here. We're doing a giveaway. We're trying out Craftsman tools on the latest basement project that we're working on, and they've asked us to do a giveaway on a trade stack. Okay, hashtag cheers. And if you're a member, you can do that. If you're not a member, you can't get in the comment section because, well, it's for members only in the comments. So become a member and then get in on the deal. Why not? Nick's got a question here. I got water pipes in the exterior wall going from my unfinished basement to the second floor. Okay, and you're in my region. Should I seal around the pipes in basement to prevent airflow from the basement into the wall? Hmm. um. Okay, so here's the deal. Your pipes in a basement that's unfinished, uh, they are not going to freeze because they're in direct contact with the thermal. They're direct contact with the heat. And in Gatineau, you're going to have most likely 95%, you're going to have electric baseboard heat. So there's lots of heat in your basement and your pipes won't freeze. As soon as you start insulating those pipes, you run the risk that the cold wall now is insulated and then the pipes will reach that -5 degrees and then expand below. So your best advice when your pipes are that close to your foundation wall in a northern climate is leave them exposed. And then if you're going to finish, simply take them and remove them so that you have your thermal layer and then your pipes with a vapor barrier in between. So they're never exposed to any drafts caused by mice or anything else down the road. Okay. You're fine with the way you got it. Um, it's just going to be an expensive way to heat the basement, is all. But up in Gatineau, the electricity is actually pretty cheap. So, not a big concern, I would say. Okay. Adam wants to know, what is the best self-leveler product and or practice to use on top of old hardwood flooring for new LVP and laminate flooring? Hi, Matt. Cheers. Well, Adam, here's the deal. There is no good technique for using self-leveler on top of old hardwood flooring. Old hardwood flooring is wood with strips of wood nailed on top of it with old nails. And as you walk, those old floor packages have deflection and the nails come out a little bit, and that causes squeaks. Squeaks are evidence of things are moving, okay? And you don't want to put something that doesn't move on something that is moving, or it'll just shatter apart, right? So your best option there, if you want to put in new flooring, is tear out the old hardwood, right? Then you can use floor leveler. But I would not want to use floor leveler on two different materials that have different rates of expansion and contraction that are only nailed together in a deflective environment. I think that's a recipe for failure. And that's going to be a lot of money and a lot of expense. It's going to destroy your hardwood anyway. So why not just get it out of the way, right? And continue enjoying a really high ceiling. Okay, so cheers to Matt, who's joined Money in the Bank. Is that you? There's another Matt in the world. How about that? All right. Matt says, house is always humid, like 50% or more, even in winter. Should I get a heat recovery vent system? No. Okay, so here's the thing. This is like trying to say, how do I keep my shower dry when I leave the water on? Your home is in such a humid environment. Whatever you do to dry out the air, there's so much moisture present that it's just replacing itself as fast as you're pulling it out. I've seen this so many times. Cheers to drum and bass. Welcome to Money in the Bank. I've seen this so many times where people think, oh, it's humid. And they think it was a moment in time where there's moisture and now I've got to get rid of it. If it was an event, fine. If it rains and then your basement's humid and it rains 5 times a year, fine. But if it's always humid, it means you've got groundwater or soil conditions that are trapping water around your basement and it's just sucking in and sucking in, sucking in. The best money you can spend is going to be on a sump pump that keeps the water level low, or trenching a foundation and waterproofing your outside foundation, or putting in a French drain inside the wall and vapor barrier on your walls. You've got to reduce the amount of moisture coming into the atmosphere before you can condition the atmosphere, or it's a losing battle. Okay. It's like trying to stand in the ocean and hold back the tide. You're going to be irrelevant, and it's just going to frustrate you, and you're going to spend a lot of good money getting that installed. It's going to disappoint. So save your money. Put it into waterproofing to separate your house from the source of moisture. Okay. Let me know. Send me a message. Okay. Tell me where you live, what your soil conditions are. Are you sand? Are you slab on grade? No, you have a basement, so that's dumb. Do you have clay? Okay. Are you on bedrock? Are you in a valley? Give me that kind of information. What part of the world you live in, and then I can help you identify what the most efficient system you're going to find for you. Okay. Lowest point in the subdivision, have no sump pump. Maybe the problem. Good chance, right? But again, send me that information and in the forum, and I'll get you all of those details. But because sump pumps aren't required by a lot of building codes in a lot of regions, even if they make really, really good sense. Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. More. Morticia? Did I get that right? Morticia Jenkins? That's cool. 1975 Alaska house. I'm laying subfloor in the basement. Should I use a membrane pin set to bond tile to the subfloor or just pin set? Okay, depends on your subfloor system. If you have a 5/8 OSB tongue and groove and it's Tapcon to your concrete, then yes, use Vitra Schluter membrane with pin set, and then you can tile. Okay, that is your best bet. I'm going to tell you right now. You don't need to double up or triple up on your subfloor. You just need to use the right membrane, and you need to Tapcon screw down your USB panels so that you don't have any deflection because they come off the assembly line warped. And when you flatten it, it's under pressure. So make sure you use enough so it's not going to pop off one day, right? Or if you're using little 2x2 panels, make sure you screw them and hammer them together really well before you get into the business of putting on another layer. All right. You want them as tight fit as you can get. I'm with Travis on this. Once wallpaper glue has been painted over, I can't even sand it off. Is skim coating the only option? Thinking of wallpaper to cover it. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's true. Like once you paint something, it's on there. Right? You got to be really aggressive with sanding to try to fix it. Um, it's like trying to sand off a really good paint job, right? You got to use like 40 grit and this it's gonna take you weeks, right? It's brutal. Uh, yeah, sometimes the easiest thing to do when you have a bad situation like that is just tear off the drywall and put a couple of new sheets up, right? 80 bucks in drywall will do all 4 walls in a bedroom. Nah, probably 1 box of mud will tape the joints. A few days later, and it's done, but it only takes an hour a day to do each step. That's what I would do. But that's just me because I love drywall. James Miller says he has a 1/2 inch ply subfloor with 3/4 inch oak. Most of the main floor nailed to the joist. Okay. I'm planning to install more 3/4 oak in an adjacent room. Is it worth it to beef up the subfloor from below? Um, the only information I don't have here is it solid wood? Is it engineered? And what's the width of the plank? Because there are different installation practices that you need for each of those. And what was his name, bud? Cheers? Was it James? James, let me know, how wide is your plank? How long are they? Are they intermittent? Do you have pieces that are only 12 inches long? All that kind of jazz. I really need to know those details. And is it solid wood or engineered? And then tell me where you live because it's relevant. Um, okay. Bum, bum, bum. Brandon B. Nice cat. And he's saying hi to you too. That's nice. Hey, cheers. Mahalo. When finishing a basement, am I allowed to fill in the HVAC condensation drainage hole to make space for a hallway and reroute the condensation line into the bathroom drainage or similar? Okay. Um, yeah, you can pump water anywhere you want as long as you have access to it. It needs to be able to be serviced in case of a backup. So you can't just bury it in a wall and like stick it with some epoxy in the side of an ABS pipe inside of a wall. You got to put it somewhere where you can service it. And you can do it inside the wall, but you got to put it like a trap door, like a little 9x9 spring loaded something. Okay. That's the only biggest issue. I can't even think of a region where they wouldn't want something practical in their code for that. Access to troubleshoot problems is a big issue. Okay. Washington State question. Some jackwagon installed the junction box directly below my P-trap in the bathroom. I need a permit to move the thing. Is it worth it? You know what? Here's a great solution for you. Okay. Um, Google search a drywall store does sells commercial drywall and materials, and they'll have a big putty pad. It's about like 8 or 9 inches by 8 or 9 inches, and it's like thick clay Play-Doh. All right, and it's waterproof. Slide that above your electrical box and press it on, and make an umbrella for it. So if you ever do get a leak, it doesn't get into your electrical. Cheers. That'll save you an electrician, which you're never going to find for a small, stupid project anyway. And then it gives you peace of mind that if anything happens, at least you know that water's not going to start a fire. All right. David, welcome to Money in the Bank. And we use those putty pads on electrical all the time. They're approved in safety for it, right? This is what we do for soundproofing. So it's an approved technique to wrap your electrical box in something that's waterproof because it's actually just there to be air sealing, but it does waterproofing as well. Cheers, David, to the membership program. Guys, let's just quick break. If you're just joining us, today we're doing a giveaway. At the end of the show, which will be at about 6:45, we're going to give this away. We're using, what are we using here? StreamYard. We're using StreamYard, and the folks over there have got software. They're going to pick a winner for us. All you got to do to enter is be a member and hashtag cheers in the comments. All right. You're automatically in the draw. It's awesome. It's about $300. We're on our basement job here, and we are trying out all of the Craftsman tools to see if I can give you a good recommendation. We're not done yet. We still have a bunch of tools to go through. So far, so good, though. I'm actually been pretty pleased. It's a great way to save a few bucks. And it's from our friends over at Stanley Black & Decker, which is DeWalt. So, another great big corporation with a better price line for homeowners. They got a brand new 20-volt system, so it's actually been working out nice. And cheers to NAMI Fixations. Did I get that right? Yeah. Welcome membership. Okay, if you got questions, if you're a member, jump in. If you have a question, you're not a member, you can always super chat us, which no one's been doing tonight. Oddly enough, they're all just joining the membership. Might as well, get on board. All right, here we go. Sheldon has a question. And I got my glasses and my big screen because I'm going blind. Not really. Just with these big lights in the studio here, it's hard for me to read anything. Sheldon, wanting to tile a bathroom floor. Plumbing clean out is beside the toilet. What's the best way to keep the clean out functional and have a professional looking job? Well, that would be to cut a round hole in the tile to put over the clean out. At the end of the day, if you got to clean out, you got to clean out. There's no way to make it sexy, right? Just cut it clean. And instead of grouting it to the clean out, just put in a color. And that'll be about the best any professional could ever hope to do. And so it is what it is. And just be glad that you have first world problems. Right? Like some places in the house, you just can't make sexy. It's just good to be functional and clean. All right. Damien, sump, pump, or drain to daylight in a drive under garage basement that floods in heavy rain. Boy. Yeah. You know what? That's just a poor design, eh? That's just the way the house is. You put in a garage at the bottom of a hill, right? And then you put asphalt on that driveway, and then it rains. And then you try to manage the flood. Well, Noah, the best way that you can deal with that is literally, man, I'd have a whole grate system inside my garage that goes to a sump well. And then you want to make sure that you find out how much rain you usually get in a heavy storm and make sure your pump has got the capacity to pump that kind of water out. You might be surprised. You might even need two. You can only move so much water through a 1.5-inch pipe. So if you're going to go up to 2-inch pipe, you might have to go to a 1 horsepower or 2 horsepower motor even. And they're not very common. So take a look around and good luck with that, because like rare things right now are even rarer. So make sure you don't just order something, you buy what's in stock and work with a solution that will work for you. It might be years before never before we solve this crisis of nobody wanting to have a job. All right. David saying he's got a 22-year-old home here with a roughed-in bed with no egress. Is it worth the time and money to put one in? Poured well, thanks in advance. Okay. Here's the thing, David. The only reason you have to have egress is for fire code for if someone's living in the basement, if it's an actual bedroom. Okay. Now you get to decide, is that person's life worth spending the money? That's it. It's not a big deal. It's not difficult, right? But you do have to get a building permit. You got to get a quick cut. You got to cut the concrete. You got to excavate from the outside. You got to follow the code. You got to get drawings. You got to get inspected. And, you got to have a contractor do that for you, most likely. It could be DIY, but at the same time, you're talking about putting 3 or 4 or 5 professionals with licenses together to get that project done. And I mean, call me old fashioned, but if I had that many kids, that was something I was considering, I would go buy bunk beds before I bother doing that. I'd make them learn how to live together and get along. It's a good life skill, to have kids living in the same room, because usually they're different. and different kids have got to learn how to get along, and that's good because you're better chance of when you get married, you'll be able to use those skills and get along with somebody for the rest of your life. It's an old-fashioned concept, forcing people to learn to put up with each other, but it's worked in my home. All right, here's a super chat for you. Have a drink on me. Perfect every time. Cheers. Cheers, Robert. Oh, yeah, that's nice. Mm, loving a good super chat. All right. Okay, Joe. Nope, we're at Alessandro. Okay, he's going to question 30-year-old cast iron, roughed in waste pipe, power wash, and lining. Is that DIYable if it's just 5 meter max in distance to the tank? I think A, you're not going to have a power washer that gets to the 5,000 psi that you're looking for. B, you're not going to have the equipment to do your foam liner. Okay. Um, I would say call up the guys that do this for a living. That'll give you a guarantee and a warranty. Okay. And it works. Like it really works. And the reason it works is because cast iron pipe are just loosely fit underground. And tree roots love to find that. And that's why you got a pressure wash to blow all the roots out. And then when you line it, you separate the water from where the roots are sitting. So the tree doesn't kind of try to grow into the water because it doesn't identify a source of moisture there. And so other roots will grow and it'll find water somewhere else. And that's really what it is. Well, here we go. Look at Chocolate's in the house. Sandy Rose is in the house. Cheers, guys. Great to see you again. Sort of. Like, that's all I see, you know? And what do we got? Chocolate, Sandy in the hospital? What? Oh, we're going to have to find out what's going on with Sandy. Sandy, you just joined us. We're giving away trade stack tools today. Make sure you put hashtag cheers in the comment section. All right. You too, Chocolate. Make sure you get on this. Um, we've been trying out some new tools and a new project. We're doing a basement for friends of ours. And just helping them finish getting their life in order, you know? And it's going to be really good series for all of you guys. And it's been a good workout for me and Matt. Anyway, yeah, so we're trying out the tools and we're going to be able to come back and tell Craftsman what we think. But in the meantime, they're giving away this as a way to say thanks to our community. So there we go. You guys have been in the hospital. Damn. Well, I hope everything is going all right. Anybody over there having babies? No? All right. Hashtag cheers coming all over the place. See if I just mention it. Everybody does it, right? There we go. Brandon has a question. And Jean-Sebastien Dufour, welcome to Money in the Bank, my friend. Brandon's got a 6-month-old home. Uh-oh. Give me 40 years old any day of the week. 6 months old. Oh, he's already got questions. What is with, anyway, I'm not going to rant yet. Builder ran copper everywhere instead of PEX. Nothing wrong with copper. Don't be upset about that. Before finishing the basement, should I swap those lines to PEX or would that unnecessarily increase the scope of work for no benefit? You bet it would, right? Yeah. Wow. The truth is you are in a basement. If you wanted to do some work in your house after the fact, like finish a basement, add a bathroom, or do something like that, you might want to do something where you do a conversion at some point and put in a manifold so that you can add your own PEX lines later, which is DIY plumbing. Okay. But I wouldn't rip out all of the copper in the house. That's still a perfectly legitimate way to do plumbing. All right. That's awesome. Seldom most embarrassing story about Matt. Not a chance am I ever telling his stories for him. That would not be good for our relationship. And we're just fixing that. Like, oh, he's a champ for putting up with all my BS and stress over the last year and a half. My God. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. 70 in 2 weeks. Sandy, no babies here. Yeah, that's what Sarah said. Let me see here. Oh, Morticia asked if I recommend Hydroban board. Now, there is a product that I haven't worked with yet. But the concept is similar to all the other waterproofing membrane boards that are out there. I just haven't worked with it. So I can't really recommend it, but I can't say anything bad about it either. How does that sound? Sorry if that doesn't clear up the mud, but um, you know, there are some really great products out there, and there are lots of knockoffs that have issues, right? Because it's the details that where you get stuck. Schluter, for instance, makes fabulous products. But the recommended installation today versus 20 and 25 years ago is completely different because they've learned about all of the weaknesses in their own engineered design over time. So new products haven't had the time to find out what those weaknesses are. So I tend to try to go with stuff that's been around a little while, and I don't jump on new boats very fast. All right, that's just how I work. I'm not going to bring you the latest, greatest new advancements in chemistry related to how to do things in your home because I believe in physics over chemistry when you're solving a problem in a house. Okay, you can trust it more. So the more you can lead to the physics and stay away from chemistry, the better off you are. So if that's part of your decision making process, you'll usually do really well. And if you have to trust the chemistry, trust something that's been around long enough that they've fixed their problems or identified them and found a way to stay profitable and not go out of business. And so their warranty is still valid. That's generally just good straight up advice, right? Okay, let's jump back into the questions here. Catherine Enfield says, we're starting a basement bedroom and we were wondering how to attach the wood frame wall. No space to put blocking in with the concrete, floor joists above go parallel with it. Perfect. Here's the solution, okay? Here's a floor joist, here's a floor joist. Take a 2x4 piece of blocking every 4 feet. And then you put your wall up between those two joists, but you've got blocking so you can nail up into that. That's all it is, okay? It's not that tricky. And then you can actually just, you can use tab cons to put your plate into the floor. You don't have to buy special tools, right? That's the thought. Not a worry. You don't have to attach a wall to a wall. You're gonna just a couple points on the floor, a couple points in the ceiling every 4 feet. It's gonna be solid as a brick wall. Yeah, we're good. Okay, Joe wants to know how to prevent this. After every summer, I get mold spots that form a window. Yep. AC on the styrofoam ducting. Yeah, inside. I clean the unit every time before storing for the winter. Only a couple years old. Okay, so you put in a window air conditioner, and in the interior of your house, you're getting condensation because you have cold air and it's hot outside, and that window air conditioner has got lots of weak spots for thermal, transfer between hot and cold. So you're getting condensation on your unit. If the condensation is going moldy, it's because you have mold particles in the air in your home. Raise your hand if you have a toilet that gets a little black ring of mold on it because you have air particles, mold particles floating through the air that you're breathing every day, and it finds water and it grows. Okay, that's it. So if you have old drafty windows and you get mold on the sill or the air conditioner or a toilet, it's because you have mold in your house. So the condensation is just giving it a prolific environment for the mold to grow. And it's basically it's a warning to you that you have mold in your home. Now, not everybody is very sensitive to it. I spent enough years in restoration that I walk through a door. I'll tell you if there's mold in your house. I go to a hotel. If I pick up a towel, I can smell the mold if it hasn't been bleached. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know how many times I go into somebody's bathroom on a job site and I have to go tell the homeowner, hey, you got mold in your bathroom? And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, well, your towels are moldy. I can smell it just washing my hands. I'm like, holy cow, my hands smell like mold. I'm really crazy sensitive to it. But that's what that is. And if you have mold in your house, now you got to find out where it's coming from. So go find places where the sun doesn't shine on a wall where the organics are touching the wall. Usually it traps moisture and it can come through masonry. A lot of times it's in the basement if you got one. But if you don't have a basement, check the shady side of the house. Okay, and see if you have organics. See if you're on the bottom of a hill and it's just leaves have been piling up and growing and growing and growing, whatever. But you got mold in your home, you got to fix it. All right, it's not healthy, guys. It's just like don't want to live like that. You know, you don't want to sleep with your mouth on the tail end of a freaking car exhaust. You don't want to live in a house full of mold. They'll both kill you. All right. I say it because I care. And it's easy to fix, right? You find a moldy spot, you get it to dry. That's all. You bleach it, concrobium, whatever. You just got to get it dry. And so find out places that stay wet and just mold around. You'll find it. All right. Alessandro says, thank you, champ. Your answers are perfect every time. That's awesome. All right. The junction box under the sink doesn't even supply electrical to the bath. It passes through the wet wall into my bedroom. Well, that's creative, but you know what? The electrical code does say you got to have access. So that maybe that was the only solution they had to make the wires that were existing and give you access. They put it in a vanity. I get it. It's not ideal, but hey, you know, life is not fair. Jarrett, you got a 1921 house. That must be fun. That must have a lot of character, right? 1920s are famous for having lots of different roof lines, pitches, and doghouse dormers, and curved walls, and all kinds of cool stuff. Man, they were really showing off. They knew how to use a hammer back in those days. How worried should I be about lead paint? Very. Any existing trim, anything that's door or window related, it most likely has lead. Okay. It was, I can't remember the year that they outlawed it. 60s. It took that long to figure it out. Yeah. It was the 60s before we finally got rid of all the lead. They started working on it in the 50s, but they finally got rid of it all in the 60s. So you definitely have it. Congratulations. Throw out all your doors and trim. And then start fresh. Get it out of your house. Or just don't eat it. Lead is only dangerous if you ingest it, right? Or if you sand it and it goes airborne and then you inhale it. So that's it. So you can encapsulate it with a paint job, brush and roller, no sand, right? Which is why a lot of times you go to these old houses and you'll see the old trim, and it's all dinged up and it looks like it's beat up. It's because everybody that knows better won't sand it smooth. They won't put filler and sand it smooth. They don't want to release that in the atmosphere. So that's what it is. So you either tear it up, throw it all out, and I would even use negative air just for the removal because you're going to disturb something. But or just paint it and know that it's encapsulated in a new coat of paint, and therefore it's not exposed to the elements. But just make sure you don't have a dog that likes to chew on the door frames. And you if you have kids, train them not to eat the trim, and you'll be fine. House from 1971, Brian. Member for 27 months. Brian, dude, must be original. How old is this membership program now? I'm starting to feel like a man here. That's crazy. House from 1971, Southeast Michigan area. Can I install LVP flooring with attached underlayment on concrete, or do I need vapor barrier as well? Here is the thing. Your LVP flooring with that underlayment is a vapor barrier. Okay? So you don't have to worry about another layer of plastic. And it's 1971, yeah, you need one, but the flooring itself is the vapor barrier. Now, the attached pad is useless, right? It doesn't serve much of a function. So if you want, my recommendation is always consider the idea of the atmosphere. What are you using the room for? If you want to try to control impact noise of people walking around, stuff like that, then use an underlayment. Okay, and you can tape and seal that stuff together. Most underlayments come as a 2-in-1 underlayment / vapor barrier because it never hurts to have a vapor barrier under a floor. I mean, I can't even think of a single situation where adding a vapor barrier underneath a floor ever hurts the building. So there's never a bad decision, and it's cheap. So get one that gives you some sound control. You are in Southeast Michigan area. I don't know if you got a Floor and Decor around there, but they've got like 6 different grades of underlayment there, right to cork. And they even have a little station set up in their store, a golf ball and a string with the same flooring with different subfloor. Boom. And you can try it and see the difference in the sound. It'll blow your mind the difference 40 cents a square foot will make. I think it's worth having. I mean, ever since I did that test, I was just like blown away. You know, the same floor, the same golf ball, different underlayment. What a dramatic change a few cents makes per square foot in underlayment. So out of all the places in the house, you don't want to cheap out as your underlayment. All right. They attach the pad and they try to sell it to you like it's a benefit, but it doesn't work. It's not thick enough to actually absorb any sound. Anyway, enough of that. I could do a whole show on flooring. All right, next. Who have we got? Joe. Anyway, I had to take some time for Brian because he's been around for 27 months waiting to ask a question. And I have no recollection of Brian ever asking me a question. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. Joe says probably the basement. It's unfinished. Block foundation, 1950s. Told you. Northeast US. Good idea to try a dehumidifier down there in the summer. Window AC is used on the first floor. Okay, so here's the thing. Mold grows in organics. Okay. So what you want to take a look at is, yeah, you've got high humidity in your basement, Joe, but where is the organics that this mold is proliferating? Where's it growing? You got to find the spot. Okay. It might only be in one corner. It might be a poor installation of a patio door. You might have your subfloor and framing and rim joists rotting out. You don't know, but there is definitely mold in your atmosphere. It could be underneath the floor somewhere. Okay. Um, don't blame the basement if it's not finished because it's relative humidity and that'll passively transfer through the whole home. So check for closets, closet ceilings. 1950s home, that region, they didn't have vapor barriers. So it might even be like a ceiling in a closet somewhere where you don't get enough airflow. Okay, you get lots of heat in the summertime and they might have bad insulation and there might be mold in a corner of a closet somewhere and you're not aware of. So go in and take a look, inspect, go on a tour. Look for places that don't have lots of airflow, that'll trap moisture and have no way to release it. And good luck. You'll find it. Talk to your friends, find out. Usually, if you want someone who's sensitive to mold, ask the ladies, okay? They're a lot more sensitive. They just have better noses for some reason. It's probably because they had to spend their whole lives, identifying when people are full of crap. But they can pick up mold a lot easier than we can in most cases. Diana, professional plumber, put a P-trap in backward in my kitchen sink because it was easier than extending the existing pipe. Backwards. Okay. As long as the P-trap is holding water and the air can't back up into the sink and it's not causing your sink to drain slow, then don't worry about it. Here's the thing about plumbing. There's a lot of code, right? Yeah, you're welcome, Brian. Cheers, man. There's a lot of building code about how to do plumbing properly. All right. But we've had plumbing for a long time, done it properly, that worked for 100 years. And in my life experience, I've known professional plumbing inspectors for the city that would fix plumbing problems with a garden hose in their own house. Just saying. All right. It's not that tricky. They're just always trying to adjust the code for best practice in worst case scenarios. Yep. Go ahead. All right. No, here we go. Chocolate told me the membership program's been around for 3 years and 5 months. Dear Lord, isn't that something? Wow. We've been doing this for 3 years and 5 months, eh? That's amazing. Well, I got to cheers to everybody who put me in business. This is awesome. You guys, the members, you guys you keep the lights on. I don't know if you're aware of it. This is a very expensive business that I'm running. My God, you guys keep the lights on. This is awesome. This is why I take time to do this because, like, I want to see it successful, but I want to give back too. This is really cool. I think it's probably the most underrated, most amazing community in all of YouTube. Grown-ass men and women who own their own houses trying to find a way to get things done because, well, A, it's too expensive to hire a pro, and B, there just ain't enough of them around. So you got to grab the bull by the horns here. What do we do? All right. Ann Watkins, welcome to Loving It. Nice. Yeah, by the way, a lot of you don't know, but there are actually 4 different options for joining the membership program. I don't promote this that much, but I've had people message, oh man, you've saved me thousands. I'm like, well, cheers. Join the membership program, $100 a month for a month or two then, bud. Hit the tip jar. But you can join at 5, 10, 25, or 100. I just put that there for you guys. You can pick, okay? Pick your own level of love. It doesn't matter. There's no benefit. One of these days, we're going to have a meeting. And 3.5 years in, we should probably have that meeting sooner than later, Matt. But we're going to have this meeting. We're going to figure out how we can get more value for the members, okay? We're going to do that soon. After this project, I get to relax for a few weeks. We're going to clear some schedules and have some meetings and sort that out. Anyway, let's get back to the questions. It is 5:55. We're giving away a Craftsman trade stack today. Hashtag cheers in the comment section. If you're a member, it gets you in. If you're not a member, you're out of the running. That's all there is to it. StreamYard is going to pick the winner at the end of the show live right here, and we're going to give it away. Anyone in Canada or US, there is a stipulation. So don't join the membership if you're over in England to try to win this thing because we're not going to ship it to you. That's how that works. Sorry. Join the membership because you love us and we can help you out if you got a question. But yeah, this just, life's not fair. That's okay. Sandy's been around for forever and she's awesome. I can't believe you're 70, Sandy. You did not sound 70 when you called in that day on the live show. I'll tell you that right now. My goodness. Daniel Walsh. We have a sliding bedroom closet door with a broken plastic latch. Not sure what to call it. On the bottom of the door, the plastic broke. This is not a bifold door. How do I replace it? Sliding bedroom closet door, the plastic broken latch. Okay, so here's what you do. You go to the Home Depot. I hate to shout out the Home Depot, but they do have a door repair aisle section for sliders, for bifolds, for anything. And all the individual hardware you need for all the major manufacturers is right there. Okay, so what you do is you can take your door off. You can take pictures of the broken part and just walk in and they'll give it to you. And you'll be able to just pop the old one off and stick the new one on. All right. If you got to jimmy rig it a little bit, that's okay. Usually on those environments, they're not even screwed in. They're just more like set in place. Right. They've got some teeth and it's not that tricky. You'll figure it out. Joshua, cheers. Welcome to Money in the Bank. But almost everything in the door department, as far as hardware, hasn't really changed much over time. Just the location of the locks and the hinges. And that's how they make us continually buy new materials. But the hardware itself is pretty standard and hasn't changed much in the last 40 years. So if you have broken old stuff, you can pretty much fix it up with a quick trip to the hardware store. All right. Where are we, bud? Talk to me. Yeah, 1978. I knew the lead paint thing was like recent. That's relatively recent considering we've known that it killed people since the 30s, right? But they just didn't get rid of it. They needed a solution to the problem. And the problem was, well, we got to make our houses waterproof. We need paint that works. And they got to work on it and they finally figured it out. Okay, so Jean Sebastian says, not sure if it's worth it, but would like to see if you have any insights on how to install security camera. How would you run your cable without destroying the house? And how would you tackle it? Okay. Yeah. Depending on the house, you can always run your cabling in the soffit and in the attic. You can always drill a hole through masonry if you have brick or stone. And generally speaking, all you got to do is just waterproof the penetration if you're going to go through the wall. It's not that tricky. I always like to drill from the inside out. Okay. You got to be able to know if you're going to drill through a wire. You're electrical, right? That's the only big key. So bringing it into an attic is usually the biggest key. And then you can find a space where you can drilling through drywall. As long as you're drilling through drywall in a house and no framing, there's no electrical there. So that's really how you want to tackle that. Whenever you're drilling into wood in your house, you are taking a guess what's on the other side. And you got to be prepared for the answer in the form of fire. Because if you short out a live circuit, you can start a fire right where you're standing. So if you're going to drill blind, that's fine. Just make sure you got a pail of water handy. All right. Scott Clark, I have some gaps and cracks in the mortar of my brick. Step threshold for my front door. Can I fill with caulk as a temporary fix until I have time to repoint and fix the grout? No, that won't work. Caulking will be no different than having nothing at all. Because caulking is designed to expand and contract, which means it doesn't have any structural strength. Okay. If you're not going to repoint, grab yourself some cedar shims, jam it in the cracks, and then snap it off. Supply some structure. The bricks above it that aren't cracked will crack. It'll just keep on collapsing on itself. Okay. And that'll buy you some time anyway. Cheers. My silicone caulk is coming up on the tub. What is the best way to remove it so I can redo it? Razor blade. Actually make a little handheld razor scraper, okay? Really sharp, really flat, really slow, really low, and you slice the silicone off. And then they sell a little paste silicone remover, and it's just for the residue. You want to get as close to the original surface as you can without scratching everything up. That is how you do it. And then when you're going to put the new caulking on, do yourself a favor, fill the tub full of water first. Huh? Most tubs out there, whether acrylic or steel, have a certain amount of deflection and the walls move and collapse when they're full of water. When it's full, that's when you add the silicone. Let it cure overnight. And then the next day you can empty the drain. And then it'll all relax. All right. And so then every time you get in there, you're going back to its natural position. Relaxed position won't crack. But if you silicone and then add water, now you're stretching it. And over time, you're going to stretch it and peel it right off the tile again. And that is what the pros do to avoid that problem. What would I waterproof the hole for the camera with? At that point, if you're just going through masonry, just use a little bit of clear silicone. But 100% silicone. None of this 50-50 crap or 5-year, 10-year, 20-year. Just get the real good stuff. If it has that smelly vinegar, then you know you got the good stuff, okay? 100% silicone. All right. One last question. Is cereal soup really? Uh, I guess, at the end of the day, right? Why not? I don't know. My God. Okay. Wow. Uh, People are dying and we're asking cereal or soup. All right. I'm remodeling my kitchen. How do I join old and new drywall? The old drywall edge is rough, not straight, due to my poor wrecking bar skills, and all of that doesn't mean nothing. So here's the deal. Old drywall and new drywall. In a lot of cases, the biggest issue you have there is the old drywall might have oil paint on it, depending what old means. Okay. I'm old, but hey, we didn't use oil paint when I was born, but there are houses older than me around. So that's to consider. When you're joining that together, it doesn't matter about the gap or the crack. Fill the gap. Expansion foam works great, like a little bit of door and window foam, right? Trim it off after it's dried. And if you got to use 4 layers of mesh tape or paper tape plus drywall compound in order, and it could be 3 feet of paper. I don't care. Bridge the gap, right? And then let it dry. Problem solved. Don't overthink it. It doesn't crack as long as the paper connects from one sheet to the next, no matter how messy and how weird it looks. Okay? Enough coats and mud will solve any problem. Phil, welcome to member of the Money in the Bank Club. I got a quick mold question. Is it okay to mold, or do we need to hire out? Oh, HEPA filter. Okay, you're remediate. I get it. HEPA filter, mask, goggles, and suit. Okay, for a few square feet. Okay, here's the deal. New York protocol for mold remediation states that anything under 15 square feet of mold does not have to be licensed out to professional. It's a DIY project. Okay. The amount of mold you're going to expose yourself to by removing it and throwing it away is less during that process than what you're going to ingest in 24 hours of just living in the house. Don't worry about it. Just do it tomorrow, not the next day, and you're already ahead of the game. All right. Fresh air is really the solution. So it's a lousy time of year if you're up in New York area, but sooner is always better. Okay. Yeah. Take as much precaution as you feel comfortable with. No doubt about it. Throw a fan in a window and open a window on the other side of the house and exchange your air. That's a great way to do it. Yeah. Yeah, you're fine. And the way that you do it is just take a garbage bag and you cut your drywall, right? And you put it in the bag and then you tie it up and then you take it out. The less you disturb it, the better, right? And if you have visible mold and you want to tear a wall out, go grab yourself a can of spray paint and paint your wall first, encapsulate it, like glue it to the drywall. And then it's not going to be flying around so much. It's a great way to do it. But I've ripped out enough moldy showers in my day. We just tear the whole wall, a whole piece at a time, and just walk it straight outside, right? That few moments that you're exposed to it is not going to be an issue. It's the 5 years leading up to when you realize it was bad enough that it had to be removed, that it was dangerous. All right, Ronald wants to know what's the best material to fix a small crack in his basement wall from the outside before the real cold is here and fix and truest in springtime. Okay, so if you have a crack on the outside, you have a crack on the inside, first of all, okay? If you don't see it on the inside, you don't have a crack in your wall, you have a crack in the parging. That's different. And parging cracks all the time because people don't cover it in plastic while it's curing. And so it dries out and it's weak. So if you have a crack on the outside, but you don't see it on the inside, it's not a foundation crack, it's a parging crack. Okay, like just the way it is. If you watch any of these videos, these guys are taking boulders and they're cutting them in half, right? As soon as you get that crack, it's over. Like there's no strength there. So the way you fix a crack in concrete foundation is with an epoxy injection. Is it epoxy, Matt? Polyurethane injection. Sorry, I knew that was wrong. It's a polyurethane injection. All right, and a couple years ago it was been 500-600 bucks a crack. Now they're probably going to get 1,000 or 1,200. Welcome to the real world. Um, Sika just started carrying a DIY injection system, two-part mixture. It's at the Home Depot, but you get what you pay for, and I think it was 50 bucks. So I don't know if it works. But you know what? If you can't find somebody or you don't want to put out 1,200 bucks and you want to fix a crack, I would start there. All right. You've angered that chef. God. William says he's remodeling a bathroom, putting in a shower pan with no access to the drain. How do I fill in the hole around the drain pipe? Is pea gravel okay? Will the pan mortar stick? I'm guessing that you're in a basement then, if you're going to put in pea gravel. Okay. So here's the sit. Okay, pan mortar. I get it. Okay, William. Okay, so you got a hole. You got a drain pipe and you got probably a bigger hole, right? You've excavated, you got your pipe moved, and now what do I do? Well, you want to fill it all up with stone. Pea gravel isn't the best because it has a lot of voids and it can shift. I would suggest instead of pea gravel, use limestone screening, right? Or GA, but they don't sell GA by the bag, right? It's stone with dust. But limestone screening, it offers you all the dense packing ability. Pour that bag in there. Home Depot, it's in a blue label. It is where I live anyway. And add water. And like you can really pack it in. Now it becomes structural. It'll carry load. And then when you put your mortar mix in to set your pan in, as long as that mortar mix is sitting on something that carries load, whether or not it's a flat, stable, solid surface or not is irrelevant. As long as it carries load, set it and forget it. Put the weight on it and let it set up overnight. And you're fine. So don't overthink it. It's okay. You're just looking to transfer load so you don't have a weak spot around the drain. I get it. Okay, next. Wow, I don't know why that hurts so much. Sometimes it just comes off real easy, and sometimes, Matt, man, that hurts the brain. All right. Okay, let's go up to the branding question there about the Mohawk. The luxury vinyl plank throughout the first floor. It is installed directly on the subfloor. Mohawk says it should not have an underlayment stating it's built in at 6 millimeters. Should I install anyways for sound? Here's the thing. I'm really getting irritated with flooring companies telling us that they put crap underneath the flooring and then they're saying don't use an underlayment. The reason they're telling you not to use an underlayment is because they give you a warranty on their product. And unless they take the time to test the product to know that an underlayment is going to work, they aren't going to let you put it under there and give you a warranty. Having said that, screw their warranty. Okay? They're not going to give you a warranty anyway. They're going to blame you if you have a problem. Makes sense? I'm not talking about Mohawk. I'm talking about every company out there. The only reason, remember when okay, let's go back 2 years. Okay? Home Depot had what was it called? Life Master or something like that. Whatever, their favorite flooring, life-proof flooring. 2 years ago, they didn't recommend using an underlayment. Okay? Oh, can't, voids the warranty. And I said that was garbage, use an underlayment. Now what do they recommend? Guess what it is? A life-proof underlayment. You know why? Because 2 years later, they realized they're having too many problems with dirt and trapped debris and screw heads translating through the flooring into the finished surface after people walk on it for a couple months. And so now they recommend using the underlayment to avoid damage to the floor. The rest of the world, I'm going to tell you right now, 2 years from now, every manufacturer of vinyl plank flooring in the planet is going to tell you to have an underlayment, and they're going to warranty it. And if they don't, they're stupid, because that's what happens. You can't put something that specific and that thin directly on flooring and have a screw head translate and show up as a bump in your floor 6 months later without people screaming bloody murder. And then these floor companies are going to be stuck. They're going, well, we put that stupid little pad on there to avoid that problem, but it didn't work. Well, no duh. Anyway, don't get me going. Listen, get your warranty if you want it, or get a good flooring installation if you want it. You can't have both. All right. And if anybody knows of a flooring company out there that will actually tell you to use an underlayment, then let me know and I can start promoting them because this is an old question and I'm tired of people getting ripped off with crap underlayment. All right. Bottom line, I should do a video on that. Huh? Hey, flooring people, smarten up. They invented a new product and they didn't know how it was going to work. Okay. That's what happened. Luxury vinyl plank, my ass. Most luxury vinyl plank out there is just vinyl plank. There ain't nothing luxury about it. Real luxury costs you about $6 a square foot, but nobody's selling that at the hardware store. So don't buy your vinyl plank at the hardware store because it's not luxury. They just call it that because they can get away with it. Like if the luxury vinyl plank is being sold at $2 a square foot, trust me, there ain't nothing luxurious about it. All right, you're getting ripped off. To understand what it is, it's cheap flooring for people who just want to get a new floor in their house. And if that's what you want, great, use it. But don't expect them to come back and say, we're going to give you a warranty because you followed the rules. No, put in an underlayment. Enough said. I'm not going to answer that question again. Next, Joe, please don't have a vinyl question. Basement stairs with low head clearance as you walk down the last 3 steps. Got it. Repitch the stairs or notch the floor joists where my head hits. See, the problem, Joe, is not the house, it's not the stairs, it's not the joists. You're just too damn tall. You probably had a house built probably back in the 40s or 50s, back when the average height of a full grown man in North America was 5.5 feet. And you're probably like 6'2" or something. That's all that is. People actually got taller when we started eating right. Imagine that. And so now we have houses that are actually made for short people, and we have tall people trying to live in them. Yeah, your best bet is to just move the stairs back. Notching the floor is difficult because it could be structural, right? A lot of times that place where you're walking past or your head's hitting is a structural beam, okay? So you're going to have to open some stuff up to figure it out. If it's not, and you just want to notch it out, then all the power to you. But just be careful. You're following good building practice there. Investigate before you cut, okay? Cheers to it. We just got tall. All right. The angel of space. How do I soundproof a house? Okay. I moved next to I-81 and I can hear every gear change from the truck. House built in 1976. Do I need to redo all the insulation and drywall for soundproofing? Okay. Wow. Let's go through the list. 1. Cheers, Alex, for joining the membership program. But you moved next to I-81. You bought a house built before we even had the concept of air sealing a home. Okay, so you got a lot of leakage going on in your house. Where's I-81? I don't know. What state is that in? Matt, thanks, buddy. 2, you probably have the wrong windows facing the highway. If you have anything with an operation on it and it's not high end, there's not enough gaskets and seals to keep the air from passing through. If you have any draft in your window at all, that's where the noise is coming from. And the answer is Eastern United States. Okay. So your problem is not insulation. Your problem is not drywall. If you really want to soundproof your house, you got to look at your windows. Somebody's home. You got to look at your windows. You got to look at, man, so many factors. You know, to be honest with you, sometimes it's just, if it's going to bother you, it's just easier to sell and move. Like, you're not going to take the facade off the house. You're not going to put up zip wall and tape and seal and air seal your home. You're not going to rip all the drywall off and all the insulation out and then do some kind of like caulking mist to air seal your home. The cost to soundproof against major noise like that is so dramatic. Sometimes it's easier just to buy headphones to watch TV. Yeah. Is it irony that I'm sitting here watching this and procrastinating fixing the toilet that I said I was going to do today? I have so been there. Oh my God. Okay. What type of base trim would you recommend? I like wood instead of MDF. I just like wood. Uh, because when I'm doing base trim, I have to do a lot of cutting, and I'm not going outside to use a saw. And I don't want to promote a product. Most people aren't going to have dust extraction vacuum saws and stuff, and so I'm going to promote wood because it's safe. All right, try to stay away from the MDF. That dust will kill you. And if it doesn't, it'll give you one hell of a sinus infection, right? So yeah, do yourself a favor. Would you say Lockstone driveway is a DIY project or pro? I would say anything to do with stone and driveway is probably not DIY unless you are really in good shape and you've got a lot of nice toys. The equipment that you have to rent to do a job like that is going to be really hard to get your hands on. Everywhere is construction season, and there just never seems to be enough toys around to get the jobs done. I had all the time working on my farmhouse trying to finish off with heavy equipment. It was just really hard to get a hold of. And I've had to make all kinds of plans changing because I couldn't rent equipment. At the end of the day, I ended up having to get on a 30-foot extension ladder to finish off the siding of my house because I couldn't get a lift. And I was waiting almost a year for that damn thing. So anyway, in this environment, I would say, wow, yeah, if you really want a driveway done like that, you're better to get somebody that has the equipment because you're having a hard time connecting the dots, and it's going to take you 2 bloody years to get the project finished. And there are other ways to make money fixing your house that won't drive you nuts in the meantime. All right. Are the Craftsman tools you're giving away the same as the old Craftsman tools? No, these are the new Craftsman tools. The name has been bought and sold a couple of times, but the Stanley Black and Decker bought the name Craftsman. Brand recognition is a big issue, right? So if you're going to put out a new line, you're going to have a name that people identify with, and that's what it is. I would say that they're a pretty damn good little tool. Haven't used them all yet. I've got a few more tools to test before I have my recommendations. But the toolbox is awesome, and that's what we're giving away. So if you want one, hashtag cheers in the comment section. All right, that's the thing. Okay, where the heck are we? Guys, if you've asked a question and I missed it, just ask it again. We're not going to go through and try to look for it. All right, cool. Reno colored glasses. That's awesome. How did you learn all the things you know? Did you have a mentor that taught you or changed jobs a lot? You know so much and learned it all without resources like YouTube. How? Well, that was easy. I did 2 years of everything. Really, that's the secret. I started off my career basically as a kid flipping houses with my parents. We flipped 6 or 7 houses. I lived in the dirt, in the construction and the renovation. So it was very familiar to me. When I got into the work, I started in insurance restoration work. That gave me the opportunity to work on a lot of really cool projects, like a really cool church fire project, right? Where you have all kinds of unique problems that engineers have to solve. So getting in on how bad things happen and working backwards to solve the problems, really, it opens up your eyes to what's going on. Then I did a couple years in painting, a couple years in tile. And when I say a couple years in tile, I mean contract tile. Like I showed up every morning at 6 o'clock. Here's your paperwork. Here's your stone. Get it freaking done because tomorrow morning you're grouting. And you drive all across town and you show up and you install it. You've never been to the house before. It makes you fast. And I learned how to tile really quick. And then I made the switch to doing renovations and learned how to tile really exact because there's a big difference, right? Let's just say the majority of homes in this world are built quick, not excellent. And so you learn. And then I did a stint doing the warranty department for a major renovation company here in town, and that was eye-opening because I got to solve like over 300 problems from all other clients that were on warranty for years. And man, if you could screw something up, this company had done enough renovations that they'd seen it all. And so I got to have the experience of hundreds of people's mistakes that they maybe only make once every 4 or 5 years because there's so many people working in that company. I got the collective knowledge of all of their mistakes in that 1 year that I was working there. And so that was probably one of the greatest, worst experiences of my life. Because, Like you do learn from mistakes. And you can learn from other people's mistakes and you can condense that into an environment where you get to do nothing but learn from their mistakes every day. Wow, can you ever learn fast, right? Like I get people on here commenting, "Oh, I've been doing this for 45 years." I'm like, "Well, you've probably learned 3 new things in the last 43 years, and everything else you learned in the first 2 years." So it's you can't brag about saying I've done the same thing repeatedly over and over and over again for 45 years, so I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, people that do that still make mistakes and don't know they're screwing up because they're not around to find out about it later. And this is one of the reasons why I've got all this experience. And also, I also work 80 to 100 hours a week for like the last 33 years trying to support my family. So I really have 2 lifetimes of experience, which is fun. One of the reasons I moved around and tried different things all the time is because, I like to challenge myself and learn new skills. And in the trades, if you do the same repetitive motion, that part of your body is destroyed. I've saw it so often, right? Tapers with carpal tunnel, right? Carpenters are bad backs. Tile guys with blown out knees. It's always the same thing. Pick your trade. I'll tell you which injury they're going to have. But if you specialize and that's all you do for the rest of your life, that's what happens. Guaranteed injury. You can just sign up for your knee and hip replacement right now. But if you change it around, you're always doing something different and you're using different muscles every day. It's like circuit training in the gym, right? You don't wear anything out. It's a great way to. Is that basement you're finishing currently opting to do insulation between interior rooms for soundproofing? Yes. Yes, Brandon. We are doing a theater room over here. It is like the cone of silence. Maxwell's fine. There are 2 future bedrooms off the main living space here, and we've soundproofed the wall between the living space and the bedrooms. Okay, and we are doing sound management in the ceiling for impact noise. We have an open stairwell, so we can't soundproof this space, but we can manage sound, and we can manage all of those things. So we've got all these videos coming up in just a couple weeks, and that's why we're here because we were trying to promote the fact that we got a basement series coming up. Probably should mention that once in a while, eh? God, toot my own horn. Let's see. There we go. Jeff, I'm building a floating deck on blocks like you just did for Matt. Okay. What should I do to level the ground prior to building a floating deck to prevent water from entering the basement? Well, you don't want your ground level. You want it graded. You want to make sure that water is moving in the opposite direction of the house. And if your framing is making contact with your ground and it's trapping water, oh, you're doing it in Ottawa for the in-laws. That's awesome. Yeah, so don't trap water. In that environment, try to have your joists running away from the building and try to make sure that the grading of the house allows water to escape the other side. Okay. Um, every house in Ottawa has some sort of grade on it. So try to build it so that your framing allows the water to run away. If it's just really close to the ground like that, grading is the issue next to the house. All right, it's because the freeze thaw thing in Ottawa. Some years it's a lot of snow, some years it's not, but there's always a couple of times in the year where it goes hot to cold, and we'll get a rainstorm after we got snow, and then it goes to ice, and then it'll get snow again, and it'll get hot again, and all of that is just trapped moisture, and it ends up doing a lot of damage to your foundation. So you want to try to make sure that you create an environment where water can escape as much as possible. That's really the only secret. Okay. Cheers. And cheers to everybody out there who's building stuff for their in-laws. Wow. Cool. All right. Stu. That's what I call him. Stu. Have you noticed Stanley is suddenly a highly respected brand name in tools? No. Stanley has been a good name. As far as I can tell, they've always made a good knife. They've always made good hand tools. Interesting. I wouldn't say brand new, highly respected. They've always been a good, solid company. I'm redoing my kitchen and I'm getting everything from Homebox. But for floor and quartz countertop, where should I shop those at? Okay, not familiar with Homebox. That's interesting. I have to check that out. When you're looking for floor and quartz countertop, shop local. Do a Google search and find someone in town that's doing countertops. Okay. And ask them for recommendations. That you can go and visit a couple of people. Call them up and say, hey, is it okay if I pop by and take a look at their work? All right. Because installing stone is an art form, it's not a job. And if they do it well, it'll be obvious in the finished work. And if they don't, you need to manage your expectation of what they're going to bring into the table. All right. So you're going to have three guys, you're going to have three different prices. They're going to be wildly different in a lot of cases. So go and check out what their work looks like. Don't look online because pictures lie. Go look in person. That's all I can say. All right. Look, read their track record. I mean, you're going to have to do some research when it comes to that. There's a lot of companies in the countertop business out there with no DNA in the countertop business. You know what I mean? They're not masons coming from Eastern Europe. They're just guys who just, hey, I'm going to start a countertop business. And they own a couple of equipment, a couple suction cups, and they're going to show up and just stick it in. And God only knows what you're going to get. And you don't even know the source of their stone, right? Is it actually good quarried stone from the quarry? Or is it the crap that was bought with a suitcase full of cash, shipped to China where it was subsidized, and then it was manufactured, and then shipped back across here to be sold, but it's full of grain cracks, okay? And it's cheap crap. The industry has no way to identify the good stuff from the cheap stuff except at the quarry. But people are buying the crap from the quarry and recycling it into a product and trying to sell it for top dollar. And then they retail it going, hey, I got a great deal on counters. Well, that's because you're selling crap, right? Good stone costs good money. So there's a clue. If it's cheap, it's cheap. No one sells good stone cheap. So if you're buying cheap stone, it's crap stone. And there's no warranty in that stuff. It's going to break, and they're going to be like, well, that happens with stone. Yeah, because everything you're selling is crap. So be careful of companies that only sell crap. Okay, next on. Man, I've got a few good rants in today. By the way, giving away a trade stack. If you're just joining us, we're going to do it in about 20 minutes. Really? 20 minutes for giving the sucker away. Get in the comment section. If you're a member, it's hashtag cheers. If you're not, you got to be a member to get in on this. Value of about $300. This is great, by the way. I really enjoyed this. I got my own stuff in there, and it's better than my pale system. Okay, it's good that I organized myself a little bit. Anyway, let's get back into some questions. We got 20 minutes. Let's go for it. Okay. For the record, Home Depot isn't selling the crap. Okay, don't be dumping all over them. They don't sell the crap. There's just a lot of small companies that are getting in the business. All right. Okay, Travis, what type foundation waterproofing would you recommend for poured wall in Alaska? Gets lots of humidity in my basement. Yeah. Wow. Here's the $1 million question. You got two options. You can do a French drain inside. So you open up your concrete floor, you put it in the drain, and then a waterproofing envelope system goes right up the wall. So anything that makes it through the wall is isolated from your conditioned space, travels down into the French drain, and is then evacuated via sump pump or whatever system. Or you can fix the outside. Okay. If your basement's unfinished, the inside is usually always cheaper and faster and easier. And if outside you don't have any obstructions, then you can just dig a trench without ripping up sidewalks and railings and decks and porches and overhangs and, your prize winning roses, then you can do that. It can be quick and dirty and cheaper to do the outside. If your basement's finished, outside is usually easier. But if outside is beautiful and finished, then the basement's usually easier. They both the same money, right? And the reason they do that is because the choice is yours. But these companies aren't competing against each other with, oh, my system's better and cheaper. They're competing with each other of, do you want it inside or outside? And usually these companies will do either option. So there's a shortage on labor. They know their market. They know how much it costs. They know what it's worth. You're in Alaska, I think, right? Did I read that? So find someone reputable who's been around in the business for a while and figure out which one's best. And, that's all there is to it. That's that system. Maybe one of these days we'll do a video. We'll hook up with a company like this. And we'll go on site and we'll show you guys what to expect from the process. Let me know in the comment section if something like that would be of value to you. because I'm not going to do a, how to foundation wrap or whatever. But no, not necessarily. But maybe a video showing both options and what the market price is, and having a frank discussion with the company is an interesting concept. Let me know. I'd be curious to see. All right. Okay. Blah blah blah. Carla says we need to put conduit for electrical to our shed through vinyl siding. How should I waterproof this, and what should I do for the house wrap to prevent rot at the hole? Okay. Really, if you want to do it right, Carla, here's the deal. You have to get a little red tool and remove the siding. Okay. Take the siding off the wall and then drill the hole and then get some sealant tape around the hole. Just drilling through the vinyl and your OSB and then caulking on the outside of the siding isn't going to do it. Waterproofing is behind the siding because when it's windy, the water gets behind the siding, and whatever silicone you have there isn't stopping whatever's going on behind the siding. So the best way is to just remove the siding, then drill a hole, and then cut the siding, lay it over top, silicone the seal on front, but after you've taped the house wrap to your pipe. That's the way you do it properly. All right. No one wants to do it. It takes an extra 10 minutes, but that's how you do it properly. Yeah, right? Oh, the dogs are so excited every time they see a squirrel tonight. How about that? Whoa, we got a lot of questions to catch up on. Okay. Yeah, they'd like that video. Sounds like it, you know. Maybe what I'll do is I'll put out a community post and ask if you guys are interested in doing something like that. And then we can get all the vote on it. And then we can go from there. Okay. Can't have too many 5-gallon buckets. Catherine wants to know, what is a good insulated door for the mechanical room? Okay. Insulated. Are we looking for fire or just noise? If it's just for noise, then the best door for a mechanical room is actually just solid wood. Okay. Just go buy a solid wood door. And the way you keep the sound down in a mechanical room is you actually want to put some insulation on the wall. Okay. And you want to cover that insulation in 5/8 straw. And that's how you create a soundproof wall. This is sound reduction. All right. Solid core door, as minimal air gap as you can underneath. All right. Put a sweeper on it, or you can buy on Amazon. It's a little metal thing that you can attach the doors, like really fuzzy on the bottom. It just stops air from moving. Okay. Just think, Catherine, anywhere there's air moving, that's where the sound's traveling. Okay. So mass will eat sound, but air traveling will carry it. And you follow that, you'll be fine. We're doing a video series here in a couple of weeks talking about sound management. Some great tips in that. So you're going to want to check that out. And let's get into this. Are there any structural concern with adding a larger bathtub on the first floor above a basement? No. Look at it this way. Structural requirements for floor packages are equivalent to a grand piano with a cocktail party. Okay. Your tub isn't going to come anywhere near that kind of weight. So if they make it, it's because it's legal to put it in a house with our building construction technology. Now, if your house is older than 1970, maybe get an engineer. If you got 2x8 joists on a span larger than 13 feet and they're more than 16 inches apart, it might be a cause for concern. But there were only a few houses made like that in the early 70s before the building code kicked in. So in most cases, I wouldn't be worried about it. And if it's over a basement, you can at least go downstairs and look, right? Because if you're going to put in a nice tub, you're going to have access. So have a look. And as long as you've got 2x10 or 2x8 without too much span, you're going to be just fine. If you're concerned, you can always take 2x4 and strap the ceiling with it, okay, with nails or screws, and then you can transfer load from the tub onto more joists that way. Okay, create a great big joist sandwich. So that instead of the tub just sitting on 2 joists, it transfers the load and it's sitting on 4 or 5. All right. That's a great way to cheat. What do you think? It would be great. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Is that the most current? Yeah, we're here. All right, guys, we're here. We got a few more minutes before we do this giveaway. If you got any questions, jump in. Now it's a great time. All right. Where are we? Ba-ba-ba-da-bum. Oh, there's a nice little bit of dead spot. Dead air, they call it in the radio business, eh? Okay, here we go. Questions, questions, questions. We do have like a 10-second delay between when I ask. All right. Alex is insulating an unfinished basement. Adding some XPS against the interior of the concrete wall, only 1 inch. Fine. Adding some unfaced bad insulation on top of that. Is a vapor barrier still required? Aha! Depends where you live. Pacific Northwest. That's what that means, right? Am I smart enough for that? Um, I don't think the Pacific Northwest even requires vapor barrier. I'm not sure. But in our region, yes, you still need a vapor barrier at that location. Okay. So the best thing for you to do to qualify this question is just go Google your local building office and you can email them a question and they'll actually answer. All right. It's not an issue. Um, Building officials love to answer, building questions. So you can get your information for free directly from them. That way, in case the region that you live is the building code is a little bit different than what I'm used to, I'm not going to steer you down the wrong hole. I don't want to see you fail. So feel free to give them a call and ask. Um, we can win a toolbox. I need that. I love it. I'm tired of repeat buying tools because I can't find them. I have tools buried in walls all over Ottawa. I'm just saying. I'll guarantee you that. Because I'm one of these guys that every time I set it down, I forget where I put it. So I have like always 5 tape measures around, 3 knives. It's just a dozen pencils at a time. It's just crazy. So I'm always tripping over something that I need because I don't keep it on me. It's just funny. Joshua said he bought some half-inch plywood RTA cabinets. Want to use butcher block countertops? Do you think those type of cabinets are solid enough to handle the weight, or can I strengthen the cabinets? Oh, dude, listen, trust me, butcher block countertops are not even heavy. You would have to have 2 foot thick countertops before you match the weight of granite. So I would say don't sweat it. Wood on wood. Half-inch plywood RTA cabinets will carry the weight of granite, by the way. So you are just fine. Don't overthink it. It won't be an issue at all. The best thing for you is when you're installing your cabinets, just make sure you use 2 screws. So you got some lateral protection to keep it from moving around. All right. Matt's going to go on dog duty again. That's funny. Okay. John's got a question here. Electrical. Say I'm adding a new light to a hallway in my basement. Part of the path is covered by drywall. Part isn't. I just need to staple the exposed parts, right? Yes, you can fish wire without stapling. Stapling is only for unfinished space. We're trying to protect the wire from getting pinched when the drywall gets installed. That's what staples are for. It's just to keep things neat and tidy and organized so that we don't have wires getting trapped between the drywall and the framing when we're screwing the drywall on. A, so that we don't put a screw in it, but B, so we don't cause compression, which in some cases can lead to fire, but it also makes for an ugly looking ceiling. I still use my DeWalt laser level. I haven't changed. I have another one that I use as well. It's a green one. I don't even know the brand. We used it on this hardwood floor video that we're filming right now this week. So you'll see that coming up. Laser levels, you get what you pay for on that. And if you need a straight line, you can buy one relatively cheap. If you want it to, if you want to be able to see it outside, then you need a different color and more power, that kind of stuff. But for most people, a simple laser level around $100 is all you need. And so, yeah, I still definitely recommend that. I have a 100-year-old house in Chicago, I believe with stone foundation. Is there a specific way to waterproof that different than a poured foundation? Um, yeah. Here's the thing. You're actually a really good candidate for a French drain system because the last thing you want to be doing with a stone foundation is start excavating. Because a 100-year-old house of stone foundations, it's usually not just one wall. It's usually 2 walls with an airspace in between. And the exterior stone wall carries the outside walls and the roof, and the interior wall carries the floor joist package. And they operate independently. So if you start excavating, you can create a weak spot where the stone wall can collapse. So what I would recommend in that case is dig a trench on the inside, go to the sump pump, run your waterproofing up right to your sill, and then you've officially separated any moisture from the ground and the stone from your living space. And that's the best way to go. Okay. Completely gutted and renovated old cottage bathroom this summer. Wow. Nice. Just wanted to thank you for the help you provided with this channel. Oh, well, cheers. I'm glad it was helpful. That's nice. All right. Chocolate says she's building a ramp in the garage. Should we use wood or non-wood decking boards? Mm. You know, you're not exposed to the um, the atmosphere in a garage. So non-wood decking boards require more framing. You got to build that 12-inch on center. Regular wood, you don't need to do that. I don't really have a concern one way or another. I think it's just aesthetics at that point. Composite will last longer than wood, um, but in a closed environment like that, wood will perform real well. So I wouldn't be afraid of just going all pressure treated. I don't see any reason to spend the money unless you want it to look pretty. If you got a really nice garage, then sure, go composite, but no need. Sandy says I should invent a gizmo that can be attached to tools that comes with remote control to be located before you leave a work site. Yeah, that would be awesome. The thing is I'd only press the button after I've drywalled and I'd hear the beeps coming from inside the wall. That's uh, Luke lives in Ottawa. He wants to finish his basement in a single family home, but the cement floor is not flat. Of course, the cement is heaved in the middle. Really? That's odd. Usually it's heaved around posts and the outside wall. So yours is heaved in the middle. Hmm. Okay. Huh. You want to know if you can use a floor grinder or a hand grinder to make it flat? Well, if it's that dramatic that you want to grind it down, you might not have any concrete left when you're grinding because they only pour it 3 to 4 inches thick. Um, Here's the thing. Your house is obviously old enough that they had no expectation of you ever finishing that basement because they didn't do any waterproofing or vapor control. So it's a tough call. Luke, you got to let me know, how old is your house? So at least give me something to work with here, okay? And that's really the thing. And are you downtown? Are you on the granite? Like are, old the Italian neighborhoods around Preston Street and stuff. They all got like tree names, like spruce and elm, and they're all sitting on the Canadian, right? So when it rains, the water's running down the granite underneath everyone's houses. It's a really unique spot. There's a lot of different soils. Like Orleans is all clay. Um, Canada can be all swamp. Down south, it's all sand. I mean, so let me know what you got going on. That'll help. Want to come see it in person? Love to, but I'm leaving for Florida soon. Built in 2008. Okay, so your humps aren't that extreme. In 2008, it shouldn't be that bad. My goodness. The technology we use when we're doing that is a big helicopter type thing, flipped upside down, and the guy stands there like he's polishing a floor like a janitor, right? Here's the deal: it still moves the concrete around. It pushes up around poles and the outside walls, and that's what you should expect. Having a hump in the middle is a little weird, but at least it's not 1905, so that helps me out. If you want a level floor in a basement, you might be asking too much from your basement. I know people say, well, can I just pour level or can I grind? These are very expensive, costly things to do for a space that has lousy return on investment. So you really got to ask yourself, what do I want that basement to do? Is it supposed to be the nicest room in the house? Right? Because before you go freaking out about your basement, go trust your 2008 house. You probably got dimensional lumber floor joist packages, and you can go and find out how bad the level is in the rest of your house, and then realize, oh, it's not that bad, really. Might not be that dramatic. The secret is don't use modern flooring materials that are super wide and super long. They're designed for engineered floor joists. They're not designed for concrete. If you want to put in a floor on a concrete that has to be flexible, then put in flexible flooring. Vinyl is not flexible, right? So put in a flexible floor. If you want to pour in $1,000 worth of floor leveler, knock your socks off. But that's really the best option you got. Grinding is going to be a disaster. 1 minute till the draw. Well, let's just wrap the questions up. Listen, after the draw, if there's a couple more questions I don't mind answering them. That's cool. Blah, 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 blah. We can talk about noise and pipes and stuff, and we'll get to that, Alessandro, after, or we'll do it right now. There's a water dripping pipe rubbing noise in the ceiling every time we turn the water on in the upper level. There's a pipe crossing 2x10. Recommend open up the ceiling and redo. Dripping pipe rubbing noise in the ceiling every time we turn the water on. So a water supply noise. Yeah, basically you got some loose lines. The only way to fix that is to open it up and then attach it. Oh my god. I'll be honest with you though, in my experience, most cases it's easier to fix by opening up the floor than the ceiling. Maybe, depending on your flooring. Like if you got a carpeted bedroom and you got noise in that floor, pull the carpet back, cut open the OSB, get in there, fasten her down, and patch it up, and slap it back and stretch her in. Right. Um, but if you have the noise in an area and you've got a flat ceiling and you got big windows and you've got sun pouring right through there, that is really difficult to do a patch and do a good job. So just really think about your options there. Um, wow, yeah, that's a pain. All right, well let's get into this. Um, so Eric is back at the office and he's going to push a button. StreamYard is going to select a winner. If you haven't hit hashtag cheers, you got like, I'm going to give you 15 seconds. All right. And that means, Eric, you can push the button in 25 seconds because we've got a 10-second delay. All right. There we go. There we go. He's about to push the button. This is interesting. So all he's going to do is push that and it's going to give us the answer. Now, listen, if you win, you've got to email us. There's no other way around this. All we're going to have is an idea who you are. There's no contact information. Okay. So if you are part of the stream, well, I'm telling people if they're not here, they should have been here. That's really a waste of time. Yeah. All right. We'll do a community post for the guy or the girl who wins just to try to reach out in case they aren't around. And all right. Okay. Well, let's go for it, Eric. Let's draw the sucker. And they're not getting mine. You're going to get your own brand new one. They're going to ship it up directly to you. Okay. So that's why we got to contact you and get your information. Cheers. And let us know in the comment section if you like the idea of us doing some draws. I don't want to get weird about it, but oh, this is kind of fun. Well, I also need a drum roll. There we go. We got a winner. Jarrett Derby. Woohoo! I want a confetti machine now. Yep. Congratulations, Jarrett. I will email you're here watching. That's awesome. Cool. So it's info@homerenovationdiy.com. All right. And if you have any trouble with this situation, jump into the forum and let me know. Okay. Awesome. Guys, thanks everybody. Oh, did I pronounce it right and everything? How about that? Nice. That's a bonus because I'm not good with names. I'm good with faces. Anyway, congratulations, my man. You are now stacked. All right. Well, listen, I got a few minutes left. If anybody's got any burning questions, if not, we will end this stream right here. Drawings are fun, eh? Why not? Okay. That's cool. Well, thanks for coming out. I hope you enjoyed that. That was fun. Hey, a little bit more community. We got a few more minutes. So we're just gonna wrap it up. Yeah, wrap it up. If you got a question, hit up the forum. Okay, I'm here. I'm available all the time. This is just a funner way of answering questions, and like it's a great place to get some knowledge because somebody else's question might be your question next week. So you might as well become one of the smartest people in your neighborhood when it comes to DIY renovations, and then just make your life better. TabCon works through Self-Leveler. You're damn right. It just won't bond to it very well. And that's going to be it for me. Yeah, we're heading out. Everybody's home. The dogs are going crazy, and it is getting noisy. And cheers to G and Sam for letting us do the live show here tonight. Look forward. This basement renovation series is coming up in a couple of weeks, and it's going to be amazing. Okay. I'm doing this for free of charge for them just so that I can get the series for you guys to update our channel with the best, latest, and greatest how to do a basement renovation video series ever. It's going to be epic. Cheers to next time.